The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, candidate for Elmira City Court Judge, Jordan, thanks so much for being on the program.
Hi, Frank. Thank you very much.
This is exciting. How's the campaign going?
Oh, the campaign is going great. We have been out basically door to door since February, but for the past 1.5, 2 months, we've been out. And the mantra for us really is, knock on doors, talk to people, because it's really important in these off-year elections to, get people out to vote. And how better of a way to do that than actually get out there, talk to people, have connections with people, and tell them the importance.
I couldn't agree more. And one of the questions I'm going to ask later, but I want to get to your background on all that, is because that's the $1,000,000 question, how to get people out to vote this year and off year. So we'll talk about that in a second. But let me first ask the basic. Tell us about your background. Tell us about you.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in the city of Elmira on North Main Street. That's where I grew up. Big extended family there. Rooted in Elmira, a lifelong resident of Elmira, but for law school. Okay. I went to EFA, graduated from EFA in 2004, and then subsequently graduated from Brockport, and then finally Michigan State is where I went to law school, graduated from law school there. Okay. After that, I came back here, and essentially my career started at the DA's office. So I spent 6 years, starting in 2013 in the DA's office, 2013 to 2014. In the DA's office, but 6 years there handling felony matters, violent felony matters, misdemeanor matters in both county court and Elmira City Court. But Elmira City Court was basically my main court. I was there almost every day for the majority of that 6 years. So that's misdemeanor cases, violation level cases. Thousands of cases go through Elmira City Court a year. It's a high volume court. Yeah. All misdemeanors and violations in the city of Elmira. So thousands of cases prosecuted and dozens of trials in city court and county court. After that 6-year period, I decided, and it was right before COVID hit really, because we were home at the DA's office. I came back to the DA's office, but I took an opportunity to go to the city of Elmira as assistant corporation counsel. Okay. The reason I did that is I wanted to kind of diversify my experience. Criminal was my main focus for 6 years. I still am able, DA Wetmore delegates to us the ability to prosecute criminal cases, but it's local code cases in Elmira City Court. Oh, interesting. But also what I'm doing is basically anything that you would think a municipal lawyer is doing, right? Small claims cases, civil cases, appellate cases, and then advising the agencies on various legal issues. I also I don't sit on the board as board members, but I'm there in my capacity as assistant corporation counsel, boards such as the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Historic Commission, and then the Planning Commission as well. But still, multiple times a week, I'm in Elmira City Court handling criminal cases and small claims cases. Really, the entirety of my 12 years has been substantially practicing in Elmira City Court.
Well, why did you do that? That's quite a resume. Why did you decide to run?
Well, I decided to run, and it was over the course of time. I can't really pinpoint one moment, but I think there was a period of time where I started to realize the experience I have is very good experience, and how can I better serve the citizens of Elmira and just Elmira generally. Sure. And I think with the experience that I have, with the knowledge of the continuing procedure of city court throughout that 12 years, my thought was, what better way to do it than sit on the bench? And that's really why I decided. I couldn't give you an exact minute.
Aha moment.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is so important. That's why I'm glad you could be on the program, because this race, like all races, are very important. But 10-year term, that's amazing how this whole process works. And I know I've talked about this on the past on the show, but for 10 years, you are non-political if you become judge. Right. But right now, you have to be somewhat political. It's the kind of the oddest system that I can think of.
It's very odd, and frankly, I'm not. Everybody has political views.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not really political to the degree of actually going out and running for something.
Right.
But the way I view this, obviously, there's a window period. I'm sure you're aware of that, where you can do limited political things,
Yeah.
but you can't necessarily do.
Oh, you're fine.
Do everything
No.
that, say, somebody running for mayor could do.
Yeah.
But the way I view this is, in the way that I can wrap my head around it, is it's a prolonged job interview, and basically I'm interviewing for the residents of the city of Elmira.
Yeah. That's why you're knocking on doors, right?
Exactly, and that's really been our mantra the entire time. I have a very close-knit group of people who know me that go out, not necessarily with me, they'll go out on their own. And really, I think that's important because it's people who know me and can actually speak substantively to citizens about who I am.
Right.
And of course, if they want to speak to me directly, these people know how to get a hold of me, and I can get to those people. So that's really how I view it. It's political, but really it's a job interview, and it's getting yourself out there and getting your experience out there. One thing I've noticed talking to people, and we've talked to a lot of people, very receptive.
Great.
Doesn't matter, what kind of area you
Yeah,
are
of course.
in. Very receptive, and really experience is what they're looking at. So what better way to get out?
And they want to find out about you. That's why, again, I love doing these interviews, because it is getting more difficult to find information about cannabis. You wouldn't think so in the information age, but going to Facebook and things like that is one thing. But actually hearing from the person one-on-one is completely, it's a game changer for so many people at the end of the day. But like I said, this is a 10-year term. So for people that aren't aware, what would your responsibilities be if you are elected for Elmira City Court Judge?
Okay. Elmira City Court Judge presides over misdemeanor cases, limited felony cases before they're actually indicted. They can go through Elmira City Court.
Okay.
Violation level cases. So you're basically presiding over those thousands of cases that I was talking in criminal alone, but you're also doing, you're presiding over small claims cases, certain civil cases, and landlord-tenant issues as well. So there's a lot of responsibility there. You are basically the referee in the courtroom. That's what you're doing. You're making sure that everybody plays by the rules, right? The prosecutor, defense, making sure everybody plays by the rules and conducting the court, basically. You're the conductor. But also in non-jury trials, like violation level trials, or if a defendant requests a non-jury trial, you're the trier of fact as well.
Okay, wow.
Okay, as opposed to a jury trial where the jurors are the trier of fact and the judge is basically the referee and advises on the law.
Wow.
So you engage in many different things. Plea negotiations, you're not making the plea offers, but you're basically supervising them, and you have the ability to say, I'm not going to accept that offer. Right. So that's essentially it. There's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah,
there.
it sounds. I think not it. I think that sounds like plenty. But you're new to this. You've been talking about knocking on doors. How has the campaign been for you? Were there surprises? Is this what you expected?
So it was. It's a little daunting at first. You're knocking on doors, as you said. Never did this before. So knocking on doors was a little daunting, but what I realized is just, and what I was surprised, maybe not surprised, but what pleasantly surprised, I guess, is the reception. People aren't, very rarely are people slamming doors on.
Right.
People want to engage. They want the information. I think that's probably, and even, for example, my brother walks for me, or he's out constantly as well. But he's like, what am I going to do when this is over? I want to keep doing this.
Oh, that's not good.
Just because he enjoys, like I enjoy, the conversation and the bonds that you can make. Like I said, I'm come from a big family. Yeah. If I mention North Main Street, for example, some people that I've never talked to before on the other side of the city might say, oh, okay, I was down there, or I knew some people down there. And you mention the family. And then they have a story about your family that you can take home. At that point, you can take home and talk to people about it, and they've never heard it before. So I think the pleasant surprise for me is just that people are very receptive, and they want to engage, and they want the information.
And I know people aren't going to believe me because I pick on the petition process so much in so many ways, but it is such a rewarding experience because you learn about your city, your town, whatever you're doing it for, more than you could ever learn just walking down Marcus Street, walking down in Elmira, you learn so much about your fellow residents, don't you?
Right, absolutely. And the petition period's interesting because you get a signature, so as opposed to when you're actually out and you're like, I'm here to talk to you.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes if
whatever
if
you
you
want,
want
right,
to.
yeah.
And that happens as the days get
Shorter.
younger, shorter, that becomes, you talk to 3 people instead of the more you could talk to when it was 9 o'clock. But
Well, yeah, and that's the problem with petition season time. My goodness, you're in by 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
It seems like at that time. But what I like to, you're giving the voters an opportunity to learn about you, not just knocking on doors, because you can't hit every door, right? People aren't always home.
Right.
So I thought this was a unique idea that you're offering, and it's actually this Saturday, Coffee with a Candidate. Tell us about that.
yeah, so Coffee with a Candidate, it's going to be at the White Eagle in the city of Elmira from 10 to noon. And basically the thought behind this was every Saturday when I was growing up, that's what we did.
Yeah.
We went to my parents', or people came to my parents' house for coffee. This is a meet and greet. It's informal, and really what it's aimed at is anybody who I haven't talked to, or anybody who's just undecided and wants to come in and chat. You come by, chat with me. I'll be there. Chat with the committee members as well, and have a donut, have some coffee, and if you want to go early vote, you can go early vote beforehand.
Is that how that timed out? Is that why you picked the 25th?
Well, it was a good time to do it.
That's perfect day to do
yeah.
it. I'm just teasing, but that's, again, Coffee with a Candidate. And that's this Saturday, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. It's amazing. The early voting does start on Saturday as well. And, boy, time is going fast, isn't it?
Yeah,
November 4th.
Absolutely.
It's coming right around
Absolutely. I can't. The beneficial thing is November 5th, spend more time with my son. He just started kindergarten, and it's transition time for him too, so it's tough having to be out there, but that's at the same time it's rewarding.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be good. He's a trooper. So.
Yeah. Have you taken him out on the stump?
I have not taken him
Good
out
for
on the
good
stump.
for you.
Yeah, I don't.
Good for you.
I never even thought about doing that, just because he might like it too much.
Yeah, you don't want that.
He's a little socialite.
Yeah, you don't want that. So when you're talking to people, when you're knocking on doors, what are voters saying overall? I know sometimes they ask questions of judicial candidates that you can't answer, but what has been the overall kind of theme, if there is one?
Well, I think it's just the interest. There's an interest in it, and people are, uniformly. There's certain things, everyone has issues, right?
Yeah, of course.
And certain issues everybody seems to have, but that I don't want to get into because of what we talked about as far as the ethics and everything
of course.
like that. But really, it's interest, and people, low turnout is the worry for off-year elections. And a lot of people are saying, well, we didn't even know about this.
I know.
Sometimes it's people that I left cards with, and that goes to show you, that's a testament to face-to-face contact as opposed to just leaving your palm cards, because those can blow away. Those can just get picked up, maybe
thrown away. You don't want to hear that because
So,
you had to buy them.
right.
But the same with signs. I think we were getting so used to seeing signs all the time that it doesn't register. People forget that they can vote now because it's not a national level. It's not even a statewide level. So you see the signs, you go, I wonder what that's about, and you move on.
Right. Well, that's why I appreciate why you're giving me the opportunity,
of course,
because apparently it's a thing with media generally. I don't think this was covered that much, and so I think that's why it was lost on some people that this was even going on.
I agree, because there's nothing. Again, we came off a big election year last year. There's nothing that draws the various outlets to these local races because it's a lot of work. You got to do a lot of research,
Right.
and every county and everything's different. So that's why I'm glad, because this show from the beginning has been all about community, and I think it's our privilege to be able to have these kind of interviews. When people are hearing you speak and they find out if they can't make it to Coffee with a Candidate, how can they help your campaign? How can they find out more?
Right. So Facebook, we're on Facebook, prominent on there. That is, my wife will be upset if I don't get this right. Jordan Yorke for Elmira City Court Judge. That's what you would search for Facebook, and then yorkeforjudge.com is the website. And what I would say is, if anybody wants to speak with me, please reach out, because that's really what I'm about here. I'll come to you and I'll speak to you. So reach out right on the website or on Facebook. You'll see our phone number, or the committee's phone number, and the committee's email address, and somebody from the committee will get to me directly, and I'll come talk. So.
Okay, here's a big question I've been asking this year. How do you get out the vote? Do you think it's just the effort you put into it before you hope that pays off? Is there other ways? Please, people are begging to know.
Right. Well, the event, that's something
Yeah.
that we're trying. Really pounding the pavement, really, I think is going to be the most helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
Just getting out there.
That's all you can do.
Because, I mean, this is a good format. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Things like this is always good to reach out to the people. But yeah, I really think it's just being out there, having my face out there, and being receptive to conversation.
I agree. All right, here's the big question before we go. What do you say to voters before they either early vote or head to the booth on November 4th?
What I would say is just take a look at my experience and where my experience, where I've had this experience. It's been Elmira City Court. Elmira City Court for the last 12 years, working basically consistently in the court. I know the court, I know the attorneys who go through the court. Unfortunately, I know some people who have gone recurring. I'd also say, I'm very versed in all aspects of the court. I was a prosecutor on the drug court team, judicial diversion team, domestic violence court, and DWI court. I'm well-rounded in the court system, and I pride myself on doing the right thing, and I pride myself on really trying to get it right. And I think those are two things that you need in a judge. So that's really what I would try to impart onto voters heading into the booth.
Well, Jordan, thanks so much for being on the show this morning, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.